Hello, I'm Jessica Mills, and I'm here today with Kerry O'Shea, General Manager of Public Affairs and Legal Policy at the LIV, to discuss tips for lawyers dealing with the media. Now, Kerry, just to start off, can you give me some advice on what lawyers should take into account if they have an idea that they would like to pitch to the media?
Thanks, Jessica. Well, it is worth lawyers considering whether or not they want to do a story with the media. Sometimes they approach the media because they have an idea for a story, and sometimes the media approaches them. You have to consider whether you want to cooperate, and if so, you need to pitch an idea to the media about what you want to say and how you want to say it.
So if lawyers have an idea that they definitely do want to pitch, which is the best press that they should approach?
Well, it depends, Jessica. Sometimes it's a good idea to go to your local paper. That's often a good place to start for particularly suburban or country practitioners. But otherwise, you might want to go straight to the news desk of the major metropolitan papers. There aren't as many legal affairs reporters as there used to be, but you can generally find out who to approach through looking at the publication and seeing what their contact information is.
When lawyers are dealing with the media, is there any difference between journalists from print, radio and TV?
Yes, Jess, there are significant differences. It used to be that morning newspapers would set the agenda for the day, but now, as we all know, it's a 24-hour cycle and the media is just constant. For newspapers, the key thing is to get back to them within time. For radio, the key thing is to keep it short, and for television, you also have to consider how you look, what you say, and your three key messages.
Now, Kerry, when lawyers are actually talking to a journalist, what is it important that they try and remember?
Well, I like to say it's all about me, Jessica. It's about what is your message, explain why it's important, and have an example. If you do that, you're off to a good start.
Now, if lawyers have pitched their idea for a story or for an event to the media and they've decided not to run it, are there any other ways that lawyers can still get their message out there?
Yes, well, these days, of course, lawyers should be using social media. So it's a good idea to put what you would like to communicate in paper and put it on your website, and then you're able to link to it and tweet it and spread it out through your other channels. You can use channels such as LinkedIn or blogs or any of the social media channels that lawyers are using these days.
Okay, so on the flip side, sometimes lawyers don't want to have any media attention. What is your advice for lawyers who are dealing with negative media attention?
Well, this often happens outside our courts, Jessica, and the media is entitled to approach lawyers or their clients outside courts, but they're not allowed to bring their cameras inside courts without the court's permission. So if you're representing someone who's in a newsworthy case and they don't want any media attention, the best thing to do is to keep walking with your client and go to some non-public location, and perhaps to say to the media, we've got nothing to say, and keep moving.
And just finally, Kerry, what are your golden rules for lawyers to always keep in mind when dealing with the media?
Well, the first thing I'd say is that if you're thinking about how newspapers or the media use a story, they go for the most interesting piece of information first. Lawyers tend to tell stories in a chronological way, so I would try and pitch my story using the most interesting information first. The next thing I'd say to lawyers is keep it simple and keep it short, and try and have a conversation with the journalist that you're speaking to, as if you're trying to explain something to someone who's not a lawyer, say a family member, in the simplest way that you can. And finally, it's always a good idea to follow up with something in writing. So get the email address or phone number of the journalist and send them a little message saying, here are my contact details, here's my name, here are the three key things I was trying to explain to you today.
Thank you very much for your time today, Kerry.
Thanks, Jess.